November 24th, 1971. A commercial airliner is cruising at 10,000 feet, somewhere over the Pacific Northwest. A man straps on a parachute, opens the rear door of the plane mid-flight, and steps out into the freezing night air. In his hands, $200,000 in cash. He is never seen again. No body, no parachute, no trace. To this day, the FBI has not identified him. It remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in American history.
It's the day before Thanksgiving. At Portland International Airport, a man in his mid-40s walks up to the counter of Northwest Orient Airlines. He's wearing a dark business suit, a black tie, sunglasses, and carrying a briefcase. He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle, cash, $20, under the name Dan Cooper. Nothing about him stands out. That's the point. He boards Flight 305, takes the last row, seat 18E, orders a bourbon and soda, lights a cigarette. To everyone around him, he's just another businessman heading home. At 2:50 p.m., the plane takes off. It's a short hop, barely 30 minutes in the air between Portland and Seattle. 36 passengers, 6 crew, routine. Then Cooper leans toward flight attendant Florence Schaffner and hands her a folded note. She assumes it's a phone number. She slips it into her pocket without reading it. Cooper leans in again. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She opens it. The words are simple and terrifying. "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I want you to sit next to me." Cooper opens the case just enough for her to see it. A tangle of wires, a battery, and 8 cylindrical sticks that look exactly like dynamite. His demands are precise. $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and when the plane lands in Seattle, no delays, no tricks. For 2 hours, the plane circles above Seattle while, on the ground, the FBI scrambles. Banks are raided for cash. Every single bill, all 10,000 $20 notes, has its serial number photographed and recorded. At 5:46 p.m., the plane finally lands. Cooper gets his money and his parachutes. In exchange, he lets all 36 passengers go free. Then comes the strangest part of the story. Instead of running, Cooper orders the plane back into the sky, this time toward Mexico City. He forces the pilots to fly low, under 10,000 feet, and slow, with the landing gear down and wing flaps lowered. A configuration almost no pilot would ever choose for a long flight. It's reckless. It's dangerous. The crew tells him it might not even be possible. He doesn't care. At 7:40 p.m., the Boeing 727 lifts off again, with only 4 crew members left on board, sealed inside the cockpit under Cooper's orders. 20 minutes later, a warning light flickers on the flight deck. The rear stairs of the aircraft, the built-in air stair at the tail of a 727, have been lowered. Mid-flight, in the freezing dark. Somewhere over the forests of southwest Washington state, D.B. Cooper straps the money to his body, steps onto those stairs, and jumps. He is never seen again.
What follows is one of the largest manhunts in American history. The Air Force sends an SR-71 Blackbird, one of the fastest aircraft ever built, to photograph the entire flight path from above. The National Guard sends helicopters. The Army sends 200 soldiers on foot through dense Pacific Northwest forest. A private company even searches the bottom of a nearby lake with a submarine. They find nothing. Not a scrap of parachute, not a bone, not a bill of the ransom money. Investigators comb through what little evidence is left on the plane. A black clip-on tie, a tie clip, a few cigarette butts, and 66 fingerprints that match no one in any database of the era. In 1971, There's no DNA testing, no national fingerprint database, no security cameras. Cooper picked, whether by luck or design, the perfect moment in history to vanish. A sketch is released to the public. It sparks a sensation. Hundreds of people confess to being D.B. Cooper. None of them are. The only real break comes years later, in 1980. A young boy digging on the banks of the Columbia River uncovers a rotting bundle of cash. The serial numbers match. Nearly $6,000 of Cooper's ransom, and nothing else. To this day, it's the only physical trace of the money ever found.
The FBI officially suspended active investigation of the case in 2016. Over 45 years, they chased down more than 1,000 suspects. None fit. But the case never really closed. Not in the public imagination. D.B. Cooper became something bigger than a criminal. In small towns across the Pacific Northwest, there are Cooper-themed diners, annual festivals, t-shirts, beer labels. He's less remembered as a hijacker and more like an outlaw folk hero. The man who beat the system and disappeared into thin air, literally. Was he a skilled paratrooper? A disgruntled airline employee who knew the 727 inside and out? Did he even survive the jump at all? We may never know. Somewhere out there, in a case file, in an unmarked grave, or in a story only he ever knew the ending to, the true identity of D.B. Cooper is still waiting to be found.
Subscribe for more videos like this one.